morning, everyone. Sure hope you enjoyed your Memorial holiday weekend. I know the New York Knicks are partying like it's 1999. That's the last time they got into the NBA Finals. They are there again after they swept the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday, killed them. They were up like 43 points at one time, beat them by 37. That's on the road. It sounded a little bit the way the Knicks fans have taken over. It sounded like Madison Square Garden at the Rocket Center. That was kind of weird. That is for sure. But they were dominating. I can't wait to see who they play because this San Antonio-Oklahoma City series resumes tonight in OKC. And both the Spurs and the Thunder have won one game on the road. I could not tell you. I promise you. I cannot tell you who is going to win that series. I do believe, and I'll get into this with Darius Newsom in just a minute, who's filling in for... Where exactly is Landon Schmidt? Is this
North Carolina?
He's fallen in love, and we may never see him again.
We may be hearing wedding bells.
Wow, my goodness! Well, I can't wait to ask. I'm going to ask him tomorrow, straight out. Are you moving to Charlotte? Are you getting married? That'll take him by surprise, that's for sure. The SEC meeting's going down in Miramar, Florida. What will the league do about the college football playoffs? Because Tony Petitti, the Big Ten, and with help from ACC, Big 12, and Notre Dame, they want a 24-team college football playoff. Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, says, we're patient, we'll see. The other option is 12, the 16-team option, which the Big Ten is acting like was the idea of the SEC, and Greg Sankey said that wasn't our idea. That seems to be out. I'm afraid 24 is going to end up being it. There's no hurry because the deadline is not until December 1st, and if you'll recall, they were supposed to have a deadline last December 1st, and they just said, okay, we're extending it another year. That includes all the playoffs and the bowl game affiliations and everything else. So we shall wait and see, but we'll be talking with our good friend, Ron Higgins, our SEC historian down in Baton Rouge. We'll talk about this meeting and what's going to happen with him coming up. And then in our final segment, Jason Munns always joins us on Tuesday, the commercial appeal beat writer of Tigers basketball. Penny's got a plan to up attendance. We'll talk about that, the schedule, and a whole lot more. So that is the plan for this Tuesday. The Knicks won this series in Game 1. Darius, that is my opinion. The Cavaliers, with 7 minutes and 22 seconds to go, had a 22-point lead. They blew that lead. They never again were in the series. Swept. I did not see that coming. I thought the Knicks were the better team, but I would never have believed that it would end this way. And honestly, had they won that game, which in normal situations they're going to win it by 10 to 12 points, even if they blow the 22-point lead, I don't know what happens in this series because they would have stolen home court. They would have had a lot of confidence. Maybe there were some wrinkles that Mike Brown and the Knicks came up with that stymied Cleveland and Kenny Atkinson, who clearly was the guy that blew Game 1.
According to him, they're 2-2 analytically right now.
Oh, yeah, I know that. That was, first of all, he laid an egg. The guy was the NBA Coach of the Year last year. He knows how to coach. But let's just be honest. He blew Game 1, which ended up blowing the series. And the dumbest thing was when they were down 3-0. He goes, well, we're up 2-1 analytically. What? Last I looked, it's what's on the scoreboard at the end of the game. Not percentage of chance that you would win the game. That might have been as stupid as the engineering at the end of Game 1. I don't know what they do. The Cavs are saying, they're digging in. Did you know, Darius, that the Cleveland Cavaliers, I did not realize this until I saw this story today. The Cleveland Cavaliers have the highest payroll of any NBA team approaching the second apron. Did you know that?
Yep, of course, because you have Evan Mobley, who's in the Supermax deal because he got the Player of the Year. He stole one from Jared Jackson, so that cost went up. So,
well, he's a good player now.
Now, what do they do with James Harden with his player option?
Well, that's the thing. He's got the player option. It's like $17.3 million. If you're James Harden, you've played 17 years in the league, you were exposed in this series. And that could be because they didn't have any rest between series. They went to 7 games. They were really extended. Donovan Mitchell didn't look the same at the end of this series. But honestly, James Harden looked like an old man. He did. He looked like an old man. But if you're him and you know it's in your best advantage to just take the 17 mil, play that next year, and maybe that's the end of your career. Maybe you're going to be like LeBron. I don't know what LeBron's going to do. LeBron could go for anything. He could go for a max. He could go for, I just want to play one more year. He certainly doesn't need money. Now, I'm not putting James Harden in that same category. James Harden, though, is not going to turn down a guaranteed $17 million.
No, it's 46. For his play option, 46 next year.
46? I thought it was 17. So with Mobley, Mitchell, and Harden, they're way over the cap.
And Allen's 3-year deal kicks in next year. So Allen's money kicks in next year as well. So LeBron would be a seamless fit there. You know, it seems like they had problems at the 3 spot. If they were to keep James Harden, you insert a LeBron James, and seemingly that may get you over the hump. But,
LeBron would have to go, you know what, this is my home team. We won one back in the...
He'd have to take a discount.
In the 90s, I got to take the minimum. I got to take the veteran minimum, which... What is that? Like $6 million or $7 million?
Maybe 6, 7, somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Wow, that is crazy. They've got a big problem.
And James Harden has shown the propensity, i.e., Philadelphia, when he was up there, to get those handshake agreements. And if you don't come through as an operation to say, "Get me the hell out of here."
Well, he has, but I don't think he's got options this time. No one else is going to spend that kind of money on him. I thought it was like 17, $46 million. Wow. He's living in the past. That is for sure. Tonight, San Antonio, OKC. I've already admitted. Darius, I've admitted I don't know who's going to win. Have you got an insight into this? They both won one road game.
None whatsoever. The best that I can give you is hopefully we get to a Game 7 on Saturday.
Well, I think that could easily happen. I found what was interesting was that Greg Popovich, after the Game 3 loss at home, talked to the team for the first time this year, realizing apparently how important that was. I'm going to lead toward the Spurs just because of Wembanyama. You know, I think De'Aaron Fox is going to gut it out and play no matter what.
And with Mitchell and Jay Will, I don't know if OKC can overcome that. But quickly, to follow you back up on that James Harden deal, what you were speaking of is the guaranteed amount. The guaranteed amount for his option is 13.3, and the total value is 42. So he's only guared 13 of that. Yep.
So he's going to go for that because no one else is going to pay him that kind of money. Now, here's what I find interesting. It's 13 guaranteed. How does it get to 42? Are those performance enhanced numbers, or how would you go from 13 guaranteed all the way to 42? That's quite a jump. I know you'll figure that one out.
Yep, I'm looking. I'm trying to search that one right now.
In the meantime, before we jump, because there's some Major League Baseball stuff that happened that was pretty interesting. The All-NBA teams came out. SGA, Jokic, Wembanyama, Cade Cunningham, Luka Doncic. That's your first team. I have only one person that I might swap with the second team. Only one. I agree with all the first 4 for sure. The second team's Jaylen Brown, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson. Would you, I know you're concentrating on something else. I would swap one guy from second team and put him on first team over one guy. Do you have I'm guess for me. If you were to swap one guy out and move him to second team and move the other guy up, who would that be?
Not Shea. Jaylen Brown.
Nope.
I kind of like how it is. Who you got? I don't know who I would take from 2 to 1.
The only people I would swap, the guy who was just named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Jalen Brunson, whose team is now in the NBA Finals, and I would swap him with Luka Doncic, who was injured for much of this season. Not to take away from Doncic's ability to play the game, but you know what the most valuable ability of any athlete is?
Availability.
Availability. That
Hopefully
is
Landon
exactly
hears
right.
that.
Yeah, right. So I have no problem with Cunningham. Detroit doesn't go nearly as far. But I would have made that one swap. Otherwise, I agree with everything. Third team, Tyrese Maxey, definitely deserving. Jamal Murray, definitely deserving. Jalen Johnson,
He was impressive. He came from nowhere.
Yeah, he came from nowhere, and Atlanta really played great down the stretch after that trade, and he was the reason. Jalen Duren, I love Jalen, the former Tiger. Are you kidding me?
Is he worth $300 million? Are you giving him that deal?
You know, he gets that because he's third team All NBA, or he has an opportunity for it. I'm not sure. I mean, if we're being objective, and I'm telling you up front, I love Jalen Duren. He did not play like a third-team guy in the playoffs.
No, he went from 19 points a game to 10 points a game. Detroit can offer him 5 years, upward of 280. Any other team can offer him 4 years, $177 million. So 1 year, $100 million difference.
280, and that's 5 years.
5 years. That's supermax money.
That's 50.
Detroit has a decision to make because if he's going to give you 10 points a game, you can't pay that amount for that effort.
No, and I hate to say it, but in the Cleveland series, he was taken out by Allen and Mobley, for that matter. He did not play like a third team guy, and by the way, he made that, and I don't see Mobley on there. I don't see Allen on the top 15. So. That is a tough decision. All right, let me move to Major League Baseball really quickly. The Astros had their 17th regular season no-hitter. They start off with this Japanese pitcher who walks 3 of the first 4 batters, goes 6 innings, doesn't give up a hit. 4 guys combined on this. And by the way, that's the 5th combined no-hitter for the Astros. That is 3 more combined no-hitters than any other Major League Baseball team. How weird is that? One of those guys, Alamer Santa, was making his Major League debut, and he puts him down. Incredible. The Astros, who just a week and a half ago looked terrible,
there's a great stat that comes with him. Santa becomes the first pitcher since the 1900s to participate in a no-hitter during his MLB debut.
That is crazy. So, you know when the last no-hitter was? It was the
2 years ago, right?
Cubs, 24. That was a combined no-hitter. My question for you is, will we ever see a starter go the distance because they got a no-hitter? They keep taking these guys out. The Japanese starter yesterday went 6 innings. If you're anywhere near 100 pitches now and you're in the 6th, they're going to take you out, which never, ever in my childhood would have happened. I mean,
never.
You're no one's talking to you, and until you give up a hit, you're in the game. I don't care if you throw 140 pitches. Actually,
superstition kicks in.
Well, when I was a kid, they never did pitch counts. So different now.
The analytics have taken over. They're not going to allow that anymore.
I don't know that we'll ever see a guy. Unless he's so efficient, and he gets into the 8th inning and he's only thrown like 95 pitches, they may go, you know what, we're going to let this guy do it. But crazy. Speaking of which, Cub pitching, the Cubs have lost 9 in a row. This is after they had 2 10-game win streaks. Do you know that the Cubs, all 4 projected starters coming into the year, all 4 of them are out? It is amazing they've done what they have done. And now 9 games in a row they have lost, including the teams that, you thought they would at least win a couple. The Astros, the Pirates. Now it's just nuts. Speaking of nuts, I brought him up last week, but he continues to just amaze me. The magnificent Mizorowski, Jacob Mizorowski, the big 6'7" pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. They really didn't start tracking the speed of pitches on a regular basis. I want to say it was like 2004. Maybe that's when the technology
advanced analytics.
Yeah. This dude yesterday, he hit 100 miles per hour 57 times. More than half of the pitches he threw in the 7 innings that he went were over 100 miles an hour. Used to be, you might do that 4 or 5 times a game. If you could throw in the mid-90s, you were spectacular. 57 times. He struck out 12 guys in 7 innings with 57 pitches over 100 miles an hour. I think 103.4 was the top end of his velocity,
which he reached 3 times.
That's just crazy. It's not like human. He throws so hard that they're trying to get him to slow down and pace himself because he gets leg cramps from, to generate that kind of velocity. You got to use every part of your body, including your legs. This is an amazing thing. We're seeing Shohei and this guy. These are unbelievable moments for baseball. Last 5 starts for Mizorowski, he's given up 1 run, 11 hits, struck out 49 in 33 and a third innings. Can he keep this up? He's only 24. He could do this for a few more years unless, Tommy John
or something. Tommy John. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah. That's the only thing I think that could take him out. It is crazy stuff. College World Series is set 64 teams. To the best of my ability, 7 out of the 16 regionals, almost half, are from SEC schools, and if I did my math correctly as I counted this up, I think 12 of the 64 teams are from the SEC. That and a whole lot more coming your way from our good friend Ron Higgins down in Baton Rouge. As I sit here in the Family Leisure Studios, the above-ground pools, they got to sail the ultimate pool party. They're starting at under $4,000. The in-ground pools start at under $50,000. They're doing the in-ground pools now, state of the art, and you can get that price for under $50,000. Go grab it all. In-stock patio furniture. That's priced to move. You can get a 5-piece set starting at under $1,000. You can get those outdoor sectionals that are so cool. They start at under $1,300. You get a free umbrella and a base with a select patio furniture purchase, and if you mention us, you get $200 off any pool or spa purchase. I got to go there this week because I need some new chemicals. That's the place to go. They had this great chemical sale going on in April. I'll check it out for you guys and see if it's going on in May when I head on over to Family Leisure. And this portion of the show brought to you by Ken. That's Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Whether you're ready to pull the trigger on your dream home. Maybe you've had land in your family for years, not sure how to utilize it. Ken knows. Maybe you're ready to build that dream home, but you're looking for land. Ken knows. Ken knows how to remodel. I call it renovation with innovation. You love your lot. You love your home. But you want modern amenities. You want the media room, speakers in the wall. You want the California closet. You want the island in the kitchen that's got a stovetop in that. All these new things that are so cool. They know how to do that. Renovation with innovation. Whatever it is, Ken Garland can help you out. All you got to do is go to kengarland.com, see what I'm talking about, and then call it 3 generations of Ken Garland Custom Home Building. The only way to go if you're building or renovating is Ken Garland. We take a quick time out. We're back momentarily, and we're heading to Baton Rouge. Ron Higgins comes your way next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
I've got the one and only Marty McNate on the phone, and look, I hear the drivers are wanted at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
That's right, the Volkswagen Driver Days are here. Listen to this, Randy. I've got 2026 Jetta S, $249 a month.
Jetta S, $249 a month. That's awesome. What else you got?
How about 2026 Tiguan S, $269 a month.
Tiguan only $269. How about Atlas?
I've got 2026 Atlas SE, $329 a month.
$329 a month for Atlas SE. That is amazing. So Mid-South, if you're looking for a deal on Volkswagen, get out there and see the man.
Come see me, Marty McNate, at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make it.
Gossett Volkswagen Germantown. Atlas TC 564-681, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312-217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit via 895. Excludes tax on license approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer in 6/126 dealer stock only.
After a car accident, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Insurance decisions happen early. That's why one call can change everything. For over 35 years, we've won billions protecting injured people. Give us a call today. We'll review your case at no cost. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
All we hear is I love Tuesdays. We get to go chat with our SEC historian down in Baton Rouge, Ron Higgins. The SEC and Greg Sankey are all meeting, I guess presidents, chancellors, that kind of thing. All are meeting down in Miramar, Florida. The big debate here, will they go to 24 teams in the college football playoff like the Big Ten and Tony Petitti want? Will they stay at 12? 16 doesn't seem to be an option. Give me your insight, Mr. Higgins. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't think the SEC is going to budge. It's either 12 or 16 for them. If they don't want to go to 16, they'll stay at 12. I think Greg Sankey believes, and he has the backing of the presidents in the SEC, all the schools, that 24 would be way too much. And it would, while it would certainly add, more income, it would also devalue the regular season. The presidents and Sankey like the SEC championship game. They'd like to keep that. And they feel 24 teams is, honestly, there's not 24 teams out there deserving of being in a playoff game. And they're also worried about the length of the season. This would make it even longer. And even though these guys are getting paid, they're still semi-students, so to speak. And it's taxing.
Well, it is interesting. If they do go to 24, the earliest they could finish the season is the second week of January. And when's like the very first game of the college football season? I know the Tigers are playing the last week of August. I think there's a game before that. So you're basically saying now the football season will last 5 months if you do that.
Yeah, and it's if they want to put on pro level, do that. But it's still, I think it taxes everybody. It's not just players. I think about. I think about fans and how much income they have to attend these things. If your team is in the playoffs, you might have to sell your house to get tickets to everything and all the travel if you want. I mean, if you're a parent of these athletes, that's a huge investment.
Well, they're getting paid to play, so they can afford it.
But still, it's for the average fan, it's a huge investment. And to me, especially when you can see it on TV, which is understandable, I just think that's way too long. I think 24 teams don't deserve to be in the play, have played for national championships. 16 max, yeah, I can see that, but not 24.
Well, the 16, that's interesting. The 16 is not going to happen. I don't think, and I don't understand how this became the SEC's. We want 16 because wasn't it the Big Ten that produced the 16 to begin with before they went to 24? I think Greg Sankey said that yesterday. It's not our model 16, and so it's either going to be 24 or 12. Here's the thing: I kind of think it's going to go to 24, even though I'm not necessarily for it. I don't mind the 12. I like conference championship games. So, and I like the fact that then there are going to be 5 qualifiers and 7 at large. So I can live with this. But the 24 is because the Big Ten would like to see Fox get in the running here. ESPN wants the 12 model because they have everything. If it goes to 24, the Big Ten wants to bring their TV partner in, and it would mean more money.
Yeah, so it's strictly something that benefits the Big Ten for financially, and I think Sankey's just not going to budge on this. The SEC will not budge. We'll see what happens, but it's not going to happen. And they got to have all the conferences on board to do this, and they're not going to get on board.
Well, that's the interesting thing. Does Sankey have to look around and go, wait a second now? I know this is the Big Ten's deal, but the ACC is willing to go with it. The Big 12 is willing to go with it. Notre Dame, the special child, wants to go along with it. Maybe they think NBC will be a part of it, and they'll get even more money. I don't know. But everybody except the SEC, Group of 5 has no say, or Group of 6 now, has no say in this. They are all for it, except for the Sankey deal. And I do like his position where he goes, I'm not in any hurry because we don't have to worry about this deadline until December 1st.
Yeah. I just, they've really almost like sprinted through this thing. We went from 4, and it went to 12, and all of a sudden, during a few years have passed, and now they want to jump to the double to 24. It's just it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you take logical steps. You don't go from A to C. You go from A to B, and then this is like. If this is motivated by NIL and greed and all the money for it, I think that's what. To me, that's why they're doing it, strictly for money. But and I understand that because of NIL, and you're trying to get, resources from everywhere to pay your athletes. But this is crazy. I mean, it really is. Even if they got to 16, I would never want to see it go to 24. I just don't believe. There are 24 teams out there who deserve to play for a national championship. They're not.
Here's the only way I'd like to see 24, and this is never going to happen. I've been saying this all along, but I'd love it. If they went to 24, they should have 11 automatic qualifiers for the 11 conferences that play. That way the Big Ten and the SEC could divvy up the 13 remaining. I guess probably the Big 12 and the ACC would get an extra team in. If they just took a top 25, this is interesting. I was listening to Eli. I don't know where he got this info, but I believe him. The University of Memphis, if they took the top 24 rankings, I guess, Memphis would have been in the playoffs twice. And Ole Miss would have been in the playoffs 6 times already. But I wouldn't mind if they did that. They kind of had like an NCAA basketball tournament thing where there were 11 automatic qualifiers. Then you all these other schools that get in, you probably have to play the lower tiered teams with buys up front for the big favorites, and let those other teams use the bowls to get those things sorted out. So you might have Memphis play Boise in one round and the winner gets Texas or something of that nature. I don't see that happening. The other aspect that I find interesting in all this is, because I can argue both ways, the devaluing of the regular season. Well, let's just say toward the end of the regular season, Kentucky is going to play Arkansas. And Kentucky and Arkansas are flirting near the top 25. That game toward the end of the year could be a big game. And the winner is positioning himself to play in the playoffs. Now, there's not going to be a championship game if they go to 24. So that becomes a very important elimination regular season game. However, let's say that Auburn and Alabama are going to play. Both teams are already in. You could go, you know what? I'm not going to play my quarterback today. I don't want him to get hurt. It's almost end of the season. What is the end of the season? Pretty much. And we're both in. Why take a chance? So I could see the argument for both ways. It could devalue the regular season, but in some ways, it could enhance and make some of those late season games even more important.
Yeah, I mean that's the point. But I mean, I don't buy 24. I just don't think there's 24 teams out there who deserve to get in. I don't think somebody who has 4 losses can get in. 3 losses is pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be in with more than 2 losses, honestly.
Well, I think if you go back in the records and look at top 24s, you are going to have 8 and 4 teams in there.
Yeah, and so I don't think an 8 and 4 team should be in the playoff. I don't. I mean, right now an 8-4 team kind of gets you probably a decent bowl. That's it. And I don't think somebody with an 8-4 record who right now is getting a decent bowl can also all of a sudden be a playoff contender.
Now that you've got all the major players, including Notre Dame and the 3 power conferences, all on the same page with 24, and I understand Sankey digging in. And Petitti has said, to this point, we're going to play either 24 or 12. And there's no unanimous feeling amongst the SEC schools, according to Sankey, like there is in the Big Ten. Could you see something like the Big Ten saying, okay, don't be a part of it. We're going to do this ourselves. I would hate that for college sports because, let's face it, the Big Ten and the SEC are the 2 big dogs. They got to agree on certain things. Could you see a pull away from all the powers that be away from the SEC?
That could happen, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Matt, that could happen. I don't think anybody wants it to get to that point. I don't get the. I mean, the Big Ten is doing this strictly for more money, and sometimes, I mean, right now they are the most lucrative conference in the nation. Right, yeah. They have the SEC,
right,
and so,
and frankly, the 12-team playoff format has helped them.
Yeah, so again. You have all the SEC presidents would have to be on board with this for Sankey to change his mind. I mean, Sankey serves at the leisure of the president.
Right, exactly.
And, yeah.
They usually go along with him unless they just firmly made a decision, and he had to go along with that. But I'm not sure that's ever happened.
Yeah. So, usually. The SEC usually comes to a lot of times a unanimous decision. It's kind of like something they've established over the years. They make
I think didn't Roy Kramer say, "Listen, however this comes out, we're going to take a vote." But when it's said and done, when we talked to the media, it was unanimous.
Yeah, he always said that. And until somebody like Spur would come out and say, well, I think you vote for this. He was a master of that. I remember one year they talked about, paying players. And Spur says, well, I was for that. I think all us coaches make good money. We should be able to play players. But I tell you didn't vote for it. Les Miles didn't vote for it. He started naming coaches. That's a recruiting advantage. Like, these guys don't believe in playing players.
All right, the College World Series is set, 64 teams in. UCLA 1, Georgia Tech 2, and then Georgia 3, Auburn 4, North Carolina 5, Texas 6, Alabama 7, Florida is number 8. 7 SEC schools, there's 16 regionals, they got almost half of them that they're hosting. 7 of the 16. If I do my count correct, with Ole Miss, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Oklahoma making the tournament, 12 SEC teams are in. The biggest omission is the defending national champions, LSU, which, I think we're all a little bit surprised about that, but that's the way it went out. Is that fair, the way this thing was set up?
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. LSU did deserve to get in. Vandy was borderline. They didn't get in. But it's fair. It really is. I like the bracket. I do think the SEC team with the best chance is Georgia. I mean, they've been pretty. They won the regular season championship and the tournament. They're pretty tough. Auburn's kind of a sneaky team. They could get in there. Florida got hot at the end, but Florida's hitting. You never know it's going to blow hot or cold. But I mean,
Ole Miss has a tough one. They got to go out west. They start with Arizona State.
Yeah.
And it's some California region? No, where is that regional?
UCLA.
It's
Los Angeles.
It's in LA. That's where Ole Miss is against. They have to, if they win the Arizona State game, they take on the number 1 seed UCLA.
No, Ole Miss is in Lincoln.
That's what I thought. I thought it was in Nebraska. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Lincoln. So, I mean, I think it's a fair bracket. UCLA is a top seed in this thing. It's interesting. I mean, Kentucky was probably the last team to get in from the SEC. They were kind of borderline. Arkansas boosted hosting, which they usually do. But honest to God, Arkansas has been disappointment as a host, and they've lost super regionals when they've gotten to them in Fayetteville too many times. So this might benefit them being on the road.
Where are they, in Kansas?
Yeah. And if you get to the super regionals, there's only one super regional that would match up SEC teams in the super regional if it went that way. That's the Starkville Regional with Mississippi State and the Athens Regional with Georgia. They would play in the super regionals, but all the rest of the SEC teams are not going to be pitted against each other. Supposedly, if it all goes to chalk here, they would be pitted against each other. So I like the bracket. I really think that the baseball tournament. I know people don't look at it same as a basketball tournament, but I think I do. I think it's a hell of a.
Oh, I think it's great.
It's a hell of a thing. You got less teams, but I think it's growing leaps and bounds. I know that it's an empty feeling here in Baton Rouge. I mean, people save their money all year to go to the NCAA tournament, and so now they have all this extra cash. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Now they can go to the extra playoff game in football.
But it's an empty. Yeah.
Right. All right, Ron.
Yeah. Hope
you had a great weekend, and we'll do this again next Tuesday.
I lost you, Wolo.
I said thank you. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll do it again next Tuesday. I think he's...
You're going in and out on me.
I think he's lost us. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you. That is Ron Higgins down in Baton Rouge. He's brought to you in part by Miramichi. I played Miramichi on Sunday. I just want to say this because lots of golf courses had a lot of standing water. I was amazed. No standing water at Miramichi. The driving range, open. The sand trap practice area, open. The chipping area, open. And they got the best practice facilities anywhere. Great putting green. Everything was open. The only thing was it was cart path only, but there was nobody that was not cart path only. So you got a Exercise. If you put your phone in your pocket, you probably got plenty of steps. You probably walked 4 or 5 miles, but it was worth it. And the conditions were really good. That's the thing. They care at Miramichi. They care in the clubhouse. They care on the deck up above, although they didn't have that really open because there weren't enough players playing. You got to be like me. You got to love the game to go out on a day when it's cart path only. But there were plenty of people actually out there, and everybody enjoyed it. Just a great test of golf. And again, I got to remind everybody, Miramichi is not in Millington. It's in Woodstock. It's 25 minutes from my driveway. You want the complete, beautiful golf experience? Just go to Miramichi and tell them we sent you. We're heading south of the border. Our good friend Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal on Tiger basketball is up next.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just want a fast cash offer, call Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Baird Realty at 901-257-9420 or direct at 901-319-0747. Looking to buy? Bubba will help you find that perfect home. Thinking about selling? Don't just stick a sign in your yard and hope for the best. With Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Baird Realty, you get maximum exposure, serious buyers, and real results. Want speed? He'll buy it as is for cash. Want top dollar? He'll list it. Either way, you win. Call Bubba Sandifer at 901-319-0747.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You are an adult. You can drink anywhere you want to. So why would you go to some chain bar when you could be one of the cool kids and go to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect downtown neighborhood bar? Things are hopping in downtown Memphis, and Bell Tavern is smack dab in the middle of it. You know where nothing is happening? A big, loud chain bar full of people that don't know about Bell Tavern. Come on, visit Bell Tavern and feel better than other people.
Old Dominick Distillery is pouring Memphis pride into every cocktail. From the winning atmosphere at its downtown Memphis distillery to award-winning craft spirits, Old Dominick is pure Memphis spirit through and through. Swing by the distillery bar for a pregame cocktail or celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at OldDominick.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Cruising through our Tuesday after the holiday. Hope you had a great barbecue-filled or whatever it might be holiday. We all know this has been a busy off-season for Penny Hardaway, raising NIL funds, meeting with people, trying to figure out just exactly how to get back the arena to capacities that we're more used to. Down 43% just about in attendance last year, $1.2 million deficit when it comes to expected revenue that the Tiger basketball program was hoping to bring in. And our guy Munz, he just did a story on the plan, on what Penny Hardaway is doing. Good morning. This is, it seems to be a tough job, but you got a better schedule this year, and you got a better team. What do you think of the plan? Good morning.
Good morning, yeah. I just think, so much was made earlier this offseason about the plan that Penny Hardaway came up with and presented to Athletic Director Ed Scott, Memphis Athletic Director Ed Scott, and how, I mean, Ed basically said when he held that joint press conference with Penny, that the plan that Penny presented to him is a big reason why he decided to retain Penny. That he was impressed and he felt very comfortable with the plan that Penny had come up with. And so as the weeks and months have sort of gone by since, mid-March or whatever it was, he's delivered on, a better roster, a better approach to roster building and a better roster. Obviously we won't know, exactly. We got to wait and see how that plays out once they start playing games. But they did that. He rebuilt his coaching staff. You can check that one off the list. He put together a schedule that will be a lot more attractive like a home schedule that will be a lot more attractive than it was this past season. And now, I mean, he told you when he was on with you a couple of weeks ago that the next phase, once he got done building the roster, which for all intents and purposes he is, the next phase was turning his attention toward getting the attendance problem fixed at FedEx Forum. And he talked with you about how, and he's talked other places about this too, but how he's got to get, out there. He's got to put himself out there more than he has in the past. And really, he and Ed Scott both talked about this at that press conference, just how they're going to have to, kind of go back to an old-fashioned grassroots approach where they go out and they drum up support themselves. And so, yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was, when he was telling you about that was like the next thing on his off-season to-do list was, getting himself back out there. He felt like he had done some good stuff already because he has been active this off season and making headway in that area of his plan. But he admitted that he still has some work to do. And obviously they start summer workouts a week from today, or they're expected to start on June 2nd. And obviously that's going to take up a good chunk of the next month or 6 weeks or whatever it is. But apart from that, his primary / 1A and 1B focus is going to be getting continuing to drum up that support to fix the sagging attendance.
Oh yeah, well, he's got to at least double it, right? And get it close to 8,000. It used to be 12,000, 13,000 a game. Even higher than that in the great runs of Calipari's teams. A couple of things that I just think about. One, they got to have a marketing program, a strategy that I'm not sure they've really embraced the last couple of years. I know they've run spots, but I think they have to do a deeper dive than just that. Mm-hmm. Two, I like this because I think he talked about it, and I can't remember where, but when I was a kid in Chicago, I was a Cub Scout member, and it was through my synagogue where we would meet. Well, the Chicago Cubs used to go, and they would market by sending players to Cub Scout meetings or things of that nature, church affiliations. I think if coaches and maybe even players on occasion, and you could raise some NIL money for them this way, if they were to go and they were to speak at these functions with churches and basically talk to these people by buying some tickets, that goes a long way. And there's a lot of different areas you can go besides just the religious aspects of it all. But like I say, Cub Scouts, boys clubs, that kind of thing. And then maybe the most important thing is they've lost several fans, I know, along the way. Because at the time, what is capitalism? It's supply and demand, correct? In the old days, if you wanted to sit downstairs and the only way you could get a ticket was to make a sizable donation to the Tiger Scholarship Fund. Well, in the last few years, that has turned a lot of the donors off. And I think that is your first thing you've got to do, is to reevaluate exactly how much of a tax you're going to put on, a donation tax, on great seats in the lower bowl. If you have select seats, maybe from free throw line to free throw line, the first 10 rows, and those special seats right behind press row, and the seats on the floor on the other side in the first 10 rows, maybe those are the seats where you can afford, because you have enough demand for that, to ask for a donation, a seat license, whatever you want to call that. The others to sit in the lower bowl, considering you had less than 4,000 per game last year, that license needs to be dropped. Get the people to buy the tickets.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of the things are coming up in conversations that are being had behind the scenes. But it is clear, to me at least, based on things that have been said over the last 2 months by Penny Hardaway and Ed Scott, that that getting out in the community and building some excitement and trying to not only win over some people, but to win some people back by getting out in the community. I mean, I went back and listened to the joint press conference with Penny and Ed a couple of months ago, and Ed Scott plainly said, we've got to do more in the community, and that wasn't he didn't say that just once or just twice. He said it a few times. I'll read one of the quotes. He said, we've got to articulate the plan, get people behind the plan, and then the plan has to work. I've got to put him, meaning Penny, in his spots where he can be successful like he's trying to do with the guys on the floor. That's where we had to recalibrate. Now, I'm not sure that he's saying that's the only place they had to recalibrate, to your point that you're talking about, adjusting some things with the donations and the tickets and all that stuff. I think obviously they're going to have to address that, and they are. I believe in the process of doing that. But if that is, I don't know what's, if it's 1 and 2 and 3 on the checklist, but I feel like that community work, that getting out and showing your face and talking to people and building those types of connections is at the very least a close second, if not the top thing as far as their plan of attack.
The schedule is going to be better than it was a year ago. There's no doubt about that. Let's just start. We know Louisville, Utah State. Who's the other big one that is a non-conference that's coming?
What was it? It's VCU. And
VCU. Then you've got a St. Jude game that's coming. It's going to be a doubleheader from everything I've heard. Ole Miss will play a team, and Memphis will play a team. I think that's a power conference game. Am I right?
I think that's. I don't know that anything is set in stone yet, but that would be. I believe that is what's going to be the case. Yes.
And then you got Dayton, but that game's in Chicago.
Right.
And I got to say this. Since Memphis, by portal class, is ranked 3rd in the American, you've got to believe that some of these games, USF, now Charlotte apparently has put some money in, that the conference is better and that some of these games will be good games.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know yet because there are always a couple of teams that don't come to Memphis. You know what I mean? The way the schedule works out, they're not. Every team is not a home and home, so we don't know exactly whether Charlotte's coming here or whether South Florida's coming here. Right. The majority of teams do come to Memphis, but yes, there's South Florida, which should be. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year, but I think they are going to still be good. They got the coach from Charleston Southern, Chris Mack, who's very good.
Right.
And then you mentioned Charlotte. They've brought in Wes Miller, bringing him back to the American, and he is obviously putting together a nice roster. But, I mean, let's not forget, if UAB comes to Memphis, you've got that whole situation that popped up a couple of weeks ago, the bad, the sort of Twitter feud, the social media feud.
Isn't that just sort of contrived? Come on now.
I mean, I think it is, but to me, whatever you got to do, do whatever you got to do to make people to get people excited for American basketball.
I'm good. And I think Memphis and UAB, because of their history and the fact that most of the time they're going to be two of the better teams in the league, they should play home and home every year.
Yeah.
You got to have rivalries in leagues, right?
Yep.
I mean, Memphis USF football has become a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and as long as we're talking rivalries, I mean, if Tulane is coming to Memphis next year, you've got that. Everybody loves to jeer Ron Hunter. So he'll be back potentially for again. Yeah. So like the point is, and I think Wichita State's going to actually be pretty good this year too. So like there's going to be it's going to be a good home schedule, one way or the other. It's going to be much better than last.
No doubt. All right, last thing before we run out of time. What's the update on Fred Smith, the two-time All-Tennessee kid who agreed to come to Memphis and now is holding out apparently for more money? Any updates?
The update is there is no update. We continue to try. We continue to try and get in touch with him and his camp, and we're not getting any traction there. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, summer workouts are expected to start next Tuesday, and I think we'll just have to see where things are at that point.
Well, his father keeps posting stuff on Instagram, doesn't he, about what a great trainer he is? I mean, is this all about him trying to get a job? I mean, in your estimation, what do you think's going on here?
I mean, I've heard that. I've heard some rumblings that that is something that he may be angling for, and it does seem to make some sense if you follow his social media presence. He's been very, very he's been very loud about how extolling his own virtues.
Yeah.
As a what he could bring to a Division I coaching staff. But I asked Penny point blank 2 weeks ago today, May 12th, because I thought he still had a spot left on his coaching staff, and I asked him, I was like, "You got one more spot left, right?" He goes, "Nope, we're done." And so if that's to be believed, if nothing changes from that, then that's going to be a tree that's that can't be barked up. If that's one of the things that Fred Smith Sr. is trying to do, but yeah, I mean, until we hear from them or until we see otherwise, the jury's still out.
Stay tuned, as we say. Maybe we'll know more next Tuesday when we talk again. Thank you, Jason. We appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Wolo.
And it's Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. Yes, sir.
All right, I got someone to put a bow on that James Harden deal, that triggering mechanism we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Harden has until June 29th to officially notify the team of his decision. If he opts in, he locks himself into the $42.3 million. When Harden was originally with the Clippers, the second year of the contract was only partially guaranteed. That's the 13. However, after he was traded, he retained the right to execute that option in full.
He's doing that
That's
today.
How he gets it. There you go.
He's doing that today. $42 million? Are you serious? He's not getting that anywhere else. Come on. Holy cow. That'll do it for us. Big show tomorrow. Joe Dank back in the house. Dennis Philippi will start things off with him. And then, of course, golf picks. 30 under. Come on. My question is, would you rather see something like the PGA, where you got to be a shot maker, or 30 under, average of 63.5 per round? Come on. We'll get into that with the guys. That'll be tomorrow. Johnny Radio's right around the corner. Have a great day, everyone.